Welcome, everyone. What's up, fam? My name is Gracia Martinez Rosas. I'm undocumented, unafraid, queer, and unashamed. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of United We Dream, and I'm so happy to share with you this May Day rally with my buddy, my comrade Phil Agnew here as co-MC. Welcome, Phil.
Hey, everybody.
So we're going to start it in just a minute, but I first want to share some information about the Spanish language translation. So, bienvenidos al rally virtual del 1 de mayo, el cacerolazo, el rescate al pueblo. Mi nombre es Gracia Martínez Rosas. No tengo papeles, pero tampoco tengo miedo. Y estamos agradecidos de tener el talento de la traducción de Donaji y Florencia. Para la traducción en español, tiene que llamar al 1-646-558-8656 y ponga el número de ID 931-9288-2723. Lo voy a decir otra vez. 1-646-558-8656. El número ID 931-9288-2723. Y le tiene que poner la tecla del gato, el hashtag al final. We're going to repeat in just a minute the way that Spanish speakers can get connected to our rally. Please, if you thank you so much for joining us. We're also streaming on the peoplesbailout.org and on Facebook. So we will also have closed captions so that you'll be able to see on your screens. And I'm going to turn it over to my homie, Phil Agnew.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon across the world. I'm so excited to be here serving with Gresa. Hello to all of our friends, our families, our comrades, our compas. Very honored to be here on this day. Once again, my name is PHILLIP AGNEW. I'm an organizer with Smoke Signal Studio and with the Dream Defenders, and I'm very excited to be here representing for the movement for Black Lives, M4BL. We've come together today because tens of thousands of lives have been lost. Families are struggling to put food on the table. Renters are unable to pay rent and face eviction. Essential workers are risking their lives. People hesitate to go to the hospital for fear of emergency medical bills. The virus is spreading harder and faster in Black communities, in detention centers, in prisons, in jails, in indigenous communities. Our communities deserve a people's bailout. Hashtag people's bailout. Today, a historic day where people around the world celebrate workers and demand justice for those whose labor is often exploited. It is such a powerful day to call for a people's bailout. We're here in solidarity with workers who are striking today, people who are calling across this country to boycott Amazon. I know it's hard. Whole Foods, Target, and other big business. We support small business, whether it's essential workers who are risking their lives every single day, or those who are going without pay and are unable to feed their families. May Day, today, is a day we call for justice for workers around the world. May Day is also an important day where we recognize and defend immigrant communities across the country who are either ignored or whose rights are consistently violated. Whether it is the denial of cash payments for undocumented people or the criminalizing of undocumented communities, now is the time that we unite struggles and show our government just how much we stand in solidarity with each other. If you're on social media and you feel comfortable, tweet a picture of where you are from and who you are thinking of as you watch. And please use hashtag people's bailout, hashtag Mayday. Turning it over back to Gracia.
Thank you, Phil. Today is a day that we need to believe in the power of solidarity. The possibility that we can build a stronger, more powerful movement together. And now more than ever, we are ready to articulate our boldest, most transformative demands. One that calls for an economy that is drastically different than the one that exists today. One that calls for an end of racism, an end to sexism, but one that truly puts people first, people before profit, and is committed to a radical democracy that we all deserve. We cannot and we will not go back. We must move forward. I want to mention the translation again. Para traducción, llame al número 1-646-558-8656 y marque el número 931-9288-2723. Now, I'd like to give a quick overview of our hour-long program. We have people representing workers, renters, and immigrants taking action today on May Day. We made it to May Day. We'll have artists. We'll have the traditional casero lazo. So go to get to your kitchen to get your pan and your spoon. We're ready. And we also want to be able to, with this noise, be able to show the rage of this moment at what needs to be done. We'll also do a Twitter storm together to send our message loud and clear to Donald Trump and the White House. So we'll do that together at 2:30, 11:30 PST. We're going to be expressing our outrage over the loss of the lives of our people. People should also tweet at your representative, letting them know that we demand and we need a people's bailout. So if you're on social media and you're down with it, tweet a picture of yourself. I'm gonna tweet one right now with my dog, and ensure that people know that we're here, that we're united, and that no virus can keep us from demanding and requesting for what we need and what we deserve. Today, I'm thinking about the caminantes in the Make the Road New York. Those folks that we have lost in the course of a couple of months, and that have, for many reasons, including their undocumented status, been laid out to die by the society. And I carry them in my heart, I carry them in my spirit, and that's why we're here today. To sign up to join us, to be part of this movement, go to thepeoplesbailout.org or text People's Bailout to 90975. You'll get on our list and be able to figure out how we can really lay tribute to these people.
Thank you, Gracia. I have the honor of introducing a board member for the Indigenous Environmental Network, a member of the Oneida Nation Turtle Clan. She's worked with Western Mining Action Network. She's a longtime organizer on mining issues. For our invocation and our spiritual grounding, join me in welcoming Sayokla Kindness.
Hello, everyone. Sogoli swagwek, sayogla ni yongyats, larinyonta ni wagita loda, oniote aga ni e. My name is Sayogla Williams, Kindness. I'm Turtle Clan from the Oneida Nation, and I come to you today to send you greetings and Thanksgivings, and to thank each and every one of you for participating in this May Day event to People's Bailout. I represent the Indigenous Environmental Network via on the board of directors, which is an alliance of Indigenous peoples whose mission is to protect the sacredness of Mother Earth from contamination and exploitation, and to maintain and respect our original teachings and our natural laws. For more information about our organization, please visit ienearth.org. Before I go into my opening words, I want to honor and remember those who have lost their lives due to the novel coronavirus and who have been also ill. Around the world, globally, there's 3.2 million people who have been infected by the coronavirus, and 233,000 people have died. That's an enormous amount of people's lives lost. And alone here in the US, over 1 million people have actually gotten the coronavirus, and there have been 63,000 deaths here in the US. We send our sincere sympathies and condolences to the friends and families impacted by COVID-19, and we are here today to stand in solidarity with the people as we all together suffer and face severe hardships. Right now, I'll say a few short words, which is, we call it our opening address, and it's to acknowledge and thank the spirits, the creator, Mother Earth. And so I'll say those in my language. I won't necessarily translate those, but just know that we're giving thanks for all of creation for continuing on and acknowledging our spirits and our ancestors in the four directions. Ho agwe gu uskaji adwahe noni yongwahniku de hetwatnwe ladu yohino ha ohanjage o negli suha awahi asanate gwandahnu deli o yonk ononkwa togu gondeli galendo ogu oneganasugu ojita hasu o wela su ladisangayende se yunki sota wanilale sunkwaji hawanilale gayeni yongwede jani. So be it our minds. And as we move forward in this discussion, I'd like to take a moment to just mention specific groups that are disproportionately impacted by the COVID-19, including the sick, the unemployed, the poor, the homeless, the veterans, the hungry, the people of color, the frontline workers, especially the undocumented workers, the food workers, who most likely won't get the $1,200 stimulus package, who may not qualify for unemployment benefits, and who still lack adequate protective gear in the work that they do. To the policemen, the firemen, the first responders, the worldwide refugee population is at 65.6 million. People who've been forcibly displaced, violence, prisons, human rights violations, prisoners who face overcrowding facilities, inadequate health care, the LGBTQ2I and two-spirited questioning community, the elders in the care homes, and the 574 federally recognized tribes in the US who have yet to receive the $8 billion in COVID-19 stimulus money that was issued under the CARES Act on April 27th, over 1 month ago. These delays are costing the lives of Native Americans, Indigenous people who are disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 economically and because of chronic lack of essential resources in their communities, the healthcare and a lack of running water is impacting the JENAY people, the Navajo Nation, severely down in Arizona and New Mexico. And we wanted to mention them here today because they have the most cases of the coronavirus. And so this people's bailout is about moving forward in a new way, in a different way that puts the people first. And so I'm honored to be a part of this event. And I thank you for honoring the Indigenous people, including us at the forefront of this movement, because we are holding it down on the front lines, and we are impacted as well in our communities. Up in Canada, which is the farthest most territory to the north, is called Nunavut, and it's almost 100% Indigenous. They had their first case of coronavirus. And to think about those communities above the tree line that don't have running water or portable water in this crisis, who face shortages in housing. They have to fly in their healthcare workers to their communities, and they show up maybe once a month. To know that the coronavirus is now reaching them, it's heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. And so I call on the leaders, and I'm thankful to our tribal leaders who are fighting to get that COVID-19 monies out to all the nations. We're calling on for the just economy and the green transition. The solutions lie with the people, and we can have a different way of moving forward in solidarity with the workers and everyone in this whole virus. I thank you all for your help and your assistance, and for the organizations that put together and organized this meeting. Yawa.
Thank you so much for that. All of the things that you talked about. I have the pleasure and the honor to introduce Cindy Weisner, a 25-year veteran and social justice movement leader in the US and internationally. who currently serves as the Executive Director of Grassroots Global Justice Alliance. I've been honored to work with Cindy in the last couple of years, and I'm always in awe. Cindy plays a leadership role in It Takes Roots, the Rising Majority, the Green New Deal Network, and the People's Bailouts. Today, she's here to lift up the 5 principles that inspired this movement, the 5 principles for a just COVID. So, Cindy?
All right. Saludos, mi gente. Feliz día, 1 de mayo. Happy International Workers' Day, Migrant Rights Day, Essential Workers' Day. I'm really happy to be here with you all. I'm speaking on behalf of the organizations that have kickstarted the People's Bailout Campaign and the 5 principles for a just COVID relief and stimulus. So we know nurses, grocery store workers, other essential workers have been taking care of the needs of the people across this country, in our communities, are calling for a just recovery that meets the needs of people on the planet. And we know that if we center those most vulnerable in these times, we can ensure the needs of all people. So the goal is not to bring the economy back to the status quo. It is not to go back to normal, right? Where the safety and security is only promised to the corporations and the wealthy few. We know that we cannot continue to bail out the stock market versus investing in people. So this is a moment to change the rules, to make the transformative and visionary demands that provide immediate relief and long-term permanent change. That is why over 1,000 organizations from across the country and over 100 members of Congress have signed on to the 5 principles for a just COVID-19 relief and stimulus, which calls on the federal government to do 5 things. 1, the government and our governors and our state officials from the local on up needs to make sure that health is a top priority for all people, no exceptions, right? We demand a people's bailout that addresses the urgent needs, the testing, free testing, accessible testing, and treatment, again, accessible and free from native lands to our community clinics to hospitals, right? That is number 1. Number 2, we need to be able to provide economic relief directly to the people. This country needs a stimulus plan and a relief package that expands health protections for all and gets millions of people back to work in good, green union jobs rooted in justice, right? And we need to be clear that $1,200 is not enough. That is, we need to be having at least $2,000 per person every month to be able to live and survive in this moment and thrive. We need to, number 3, rescue workers and communities, not CEOs, right? We cannot afford to leave anyone behind, not our working families, not healthcare workers, not Black and Latinx communities, not Indigenous peoples, not housing insecure people or homeless peoples. We need to be able to bail out people and not corporations, and we cannot ignore the needs of undocumented migrant people. So we need to make sure that in these next couple of weeks, as Congress comes back into session, that they do not continue to bail out big industry, right? The tourist industry, the cruise industry, the airline industry, without actually bailing out the workers first and people first. The 4th piece is making a down payment on a regenerative economy while preventing future crises, right? We need to think about how in this moment, a people's bailout provides a just recovery, prioritizing and funding those first and worst in this moment, right? And that we think about this as a long-term game. There's immediate relief now, but we need a just recovery and we need basically a new economy. And number 5 is that we need to protect our democratic process while protecting public health. So we think it's important that we already know many peoples in this country are disenfranchised from the voting process. We saw the debacle that happened in the primary elections. We need to be able to make demands around mail-in ballots and ensuring that our democratic process, that we have the basic democratic rights protected. And so I think that from the mutual aid that we see across the country to the global solidarity, we need to make sure and demand that the people's government takes care of the people and the planet. We think that it's important to understand that the Senate is planning to reconvene next week and Congress the week after that. And now is the time to push for that package, right? Corporations got $450 billion slush fund, and some people, not undocumented people, and not many families got 1,200. That is not right. It's people versus corporations, and the people need to unite and come together and fight against that. So thank you so much. When we say people, you say bailout, people's bailout. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you to all the people who have just joined us. We don't say that you're late. We say that you're early to the next rally. So we're appreciating you joining us. You are at the People's Bailout May Day rally. Hope you have your pots and pans ready and you're ready to make some noise. That is coming up. You have time to go and get your finest pot and pan. We also want to remind everyone who is just coming, and for some of those that may have missed it, that we do have Spanish interpretation at 1-646-558-8656. The ID for that number is 931-9288-2723. Then push the pound sign or the hashtag sign or the tic-tac-toe. That's what we used to call them when we was little. If you're with us, text People's Bailout, that is People's Bailout, to 90975 to get on our list so that we can be in touch with you after this rally. Now, I have the honor of introducing to you all my favorite poet, and I am completely unbiased, an amazing artist, an incredible organizer, Aja Monet. Aja Monet is a surrealist blues poet, storyteller, and organizer born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. The youngest poet to win the legendary Nuyorican Poets Cafe Grand Slam Poetry Award title, Aja Monet follows in the long legacy and tradition of poets participating and assembling in social movements. Her poems explore gender, race, migration, spirituality, and PHILLIP. She joins us from Miami, Florida, where she is working on her next full collection of poems entitled Florida Water. I want you to put your hands together, open up your hearts and your ears for Aja Monet.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, PHILLIP. I love you. And I want to thank everyone who is joining in on the call today. Before I begin my poem, I just wanted to dedicate this poem to all of the women and children who are struggling through this moment. We often talk about workers in this very adult, male-centered way, and I want to lift up all of the many unseen ways that women have labored for the fruit of this country and countries throughout the world, and specifically for all of the child laborers forgotten in factories across this world. I think that's a big part of the narrative that has not been told. So the children. Helen Todd once wrote, not at once, or once spoke, not at once, but woman is the mothering element in the world, and her vote will go toward helping forward the time when life's bread, which is home, shelter, and security, and the roses of life, music, education, nature, and books shall be the heritage of every child that is born in the country, in this country, and in the government of which she has a voice. So I say to you all, bread for all, and their roses too. This poem is called Love Supreme. Because their anger is not ours to carry, their bullets or brokenness, because hopeless is not on our horizon, because healing is duty and an obligation, because God is a holy action, a woman who changes with weather, because in between we dance, because times are hard and we are timeless, because we cherish the groove and the ground we walk on, water and wishes well worn, because we suffer without defeat, refusing to be destroyed because we miracle and magic, charm and spell, because we forgive but never forget grace, fire spitter tongues, wise as rickety rocking chairs, suffering salt and sand skies, memories, unshackled shining stitches on a stretch marked heart, for the flowers that bloom in midnight scars, how we suffered and sought a North Star when there was no light, we glowed and sparked. This rejoice, this righteous delight, this reunion, a longing to be held, the endless embrace. We got a cause to take joy in, how we weathered and persisted, tenacious, no stone unturned. Moon shining, shared laughter, patient smiles, reminiscing on first times, mistakes, and unrequited loves, playful and fresh kinfolk codes of cool, calm, and copacetic. How we witnessed the horror of mankind, and we did not become that which horrified us, a love so supreme. Thank you all. Please join us tonight for a reading that we're doing, a May Day reading with Haymarket Books. It's called Homemade, featuring Martina Spada, Stacey Ann Chin, Jose Olivares, Denise Froman, a bunch of incredible poets. You can look on my website, ajamonet.com, or reach out to Haymarket Books on their website for the information.
Thank you so much. I wrote it down. When there was no light, we glowed and sparked. Oh, my heart needed that. I know that a lot of folks watching it needed this moment. So thank you so much, Aja. Up next, today, May Day hits us here at home, and some of us don't have the privilege to be at home and are out there working. As we hit May 1st, rents are due, and many people cannot pay them today. Others are withholding their rent in solidarity with those that can't pay. Renters are striking across the country to demand rent and mortgage cancellations during the pandemic. A full and universal rent cancellation is the only public policy and solution that matches the scope of the problem and effectively reaches the huge swath of people at risk of homelessness. There's a growing community of rent strikers, individuals, housing and advocacy organizations across the country who are taking a stand by withholding their rent payments today on May 1st. We are really honored to have JENAY Manley is one of those people that are leading the Cancel Rent campaign. JENAY is with KC Tenants and the People's Actions Home Guarantee campaign. So JENAY.
Hi, my name is JENAY. I'm a leader with KC Tenants in Kansas City, Missouri, and with the campaign for the National Homes Guarantee at People's Action. I work overnights as an essential worker. My shift is third shift, 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. And I'm a mother of 6-year-old twins. COVID-19 has thrown our lives into pure chaos. I'm working 46 hours a week and getting off at 7 a.m. to 2 children who wake up at about 8:30. I'm trying to help them navigate multiple apps to get their homework done. A while back, I had my kids' father move back in with us so we could afford rent. The relationship turned toxic again quickly. I needed him to leave, and I finally got him out a few weeks ago. But that meant that the person who was supposed to be watching my kids at night while I was at work is no longer around. On April 1st, I had to scramble to come up with his portion of the rent. And even after donating plasma and using savings, I couldn't do it without help. I'm lucky to still have work right now, but that comes with extreme stress during this crisis. And on top of my anxiety of being exposed to 80 to 200 people a night, I'm facing a huge financial loss due to childcare. My great aunt, who usually watches my kids while I'm in a pinch, hold on, Avery. She's in her late 60s, and she's extremely high risk for COVID-19 and has struggled with her health for years. I'm not sleeping and I'm exhausted. I couldn't make April's rent without help, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make May's. By no fault of my own, I'm being driven to the brink of total crisis. How does the world let this happen to people? I'm not alone in my struggle. A third of renters couldn't pay on April 1st. 26 million have filed for unemployment, and still more like me are working but financially strapped due to this pandemic. This week, millions more won't be able to pay rent. Those who do will be forced to make decisions between rent and food. or their medication and their housing. Let's be clear, I've been living in crisis a lot longer than this pandemic period. Even before the pandemic, 25 million people were spending over half of their paychecks on rent to their landlords. I'm always one emergency away from either eviction or homelessness. Capitalism and racism have built broken and oppressive, exactive housing systems that have always failed me. Now we're just seeing that failure more clearly. As I see it, members of Congress have two choices. Come to Kansas City and babysit my kids while I'm at work, or cancel rent and mortgage payments in the next stimulus package. We need a real bailout for the people. And rent and mortgage cancellation must be part of it. Yesterday, I was at Jeff City with Protect Mo tenants and to evict Governor Parson. Today, on May Day, I'll be taking the struggle to the street in Missouri. I'll be politicizing my inability to pay and calling on the governor, or calling on our congressman to step up and do something about it.
Thank you, JENAY. You know, I've been able to follow your story and seen you speak more, and the reality of what so many of our people, our friends, have to go through, even seeing you have to kind of stop your kid as you continue with this. It should be real for all of us, the state of affairs in this country, and we do not have to live this way. And so now we're going to pivot to show solidarity. So solidarity means that we take on the burden with other people. And so there are millions of, unfortunately, of people who are struggling to pay their rent, just like JENAY, just like the families that are on this call, just like people who we don't see on a daily basis. And so what we want you all to do now is grab your pots and pans. Grab your pots and pans. We're going to pivot to make noise, to lift up the struggles of people around this country and around this world. We're talking about the tradition of Casa de Lazo in South America. We're lifting up how New Yorkers have begun doing this every Friday at 2:00 p.m. to elevate housing issues and more. Now it's time to bring the noise across this country. So we want you all to join us. Grab your, I've got mine here. Yeah, okay. So grab a sign, grab a bed sheet, grab whatever thing that you've written your message on. We want you to take a photo of yourself and who you're with your sign and your noise makers, and post it to social media. Use the hashtags People's Bailout, hashtag Mayday, hashtag Trump owns every death, hashtag Trump owns every death. Grab your pots, your pans, or something that makes noise. We want you to go to your window. I'm about to do it now, and we want you all to make noise for the next 90 seconds. The next 90 seconds, make noise. I'm starting now. I'm starting now.
Come do this.
I'm starting now.
Really?
Hey, hold on. Let me see how I can do both of these.
Come holler.
Come on. I'm at my window.
Lily.
I'm at my window. Let them hear you. Let them hear you. Come on, JENAY kids. Come on. Come on.
You gotta hear, you can do it. Let's hear it.
Dogs are going a little bit crazy.
Do it. Sing it.
Okay, I hope. Okay, my dogs are going a little bit crazy. This is a real life situation. All right,
Okay.
Stop now. Not you all, but also you all. I'm talking to my dogs. Thank you all for taking part in this. And this is a moment for us to just show solidarity. Please come back with us as Grace leads us in part 2 of our action.
Oh, that got my heart rate going. I scared my neighbors, but it was worth it.
Yeah, very worth it.
This is a time for us to be able to show our rage, our love, and the true calling of this moment for us to stand up together. The death toll is now up to more than 60,000 people in the U.S. And this is because we have a White House that did not prioritize the lives of millions of people. Most importantly, and leading in the numbers are Black and Latino people all across the U.S. We know that this is because they have put corporations and big businesses ahead of all of us. Right now, I'm asking you to join me in tweeting and grabbing your phone and tweeting at Donald Trump. We have not gotten what we needed out of these relief funds in Congress. Our communities need at the very least, $2,000 per person in a regular monthly payments throughout this pandemic. And this means all people, including undocumented people like myself. Our people need a moratorium on rent. We need a moratorium on our mortgages and utility payments. No one, especially those who don't have the funds, should have to pay rent. We need rent and mortgages canceled. The next thing we need essential workers protected. Those are in our communities that are working to keep providing food for us, healthcare, safety, and more, should not have the risk their lives to ensure that they are able to feed their families. This country, this moment has declared undocumented people all across the country as both essential and disposable, and we must stop that now. We need our healthcare expanded to cover all people under all circumstances. We need our state and local budgets funded so that drastic cuts are not made in critical supports, so that we're able to sustain our people and our communities. We need a people's bailout, and we need it right here, right now. So I'm gonna ask you right now to tweet at your member of Congress, if you know them, or send a tweet to Senate Dems and encourage them to be bold. Are you ready? Are you tweeting? I see everyone on their phone. I see you, Phil, your phone. This is the moment for, oh, yes, good. We're ready to ensure that people hear our voices. There are many mediums in which we can do that. Right now, as some of us are at home, Twitter is our next best bet to do that. So while we do that, I also wanted to ground us in the moment that we're in. An estimated 2 to 3 million farm workers feed us with their labor. They bring food, vegetables, and other crops to our homes across the country. And as this country is learning, their work is critical now, but it has always been critical to our survival. Yet their work and their lives have not been properly valued. The COVID-19 pandemic is expanding into rural America, and these communities are among the hardest hit due to our demographic and our lack of resources. The health and welfare of farm worker community and our families and their security of the entire food supply is at risk. It is our hope that farm workers are not forgotten and are not left behind, and we're gonna make sure that that happens. And today we have Nelly Rodriguez of the Coalition of Immokalee Workers, who will speak in English, and then Natalia Naranja, who will interpret in English. So Nelly, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. And Natalia, thank you so much for translating. So, Nelly?
Bueno, pues muchas gracias también a ustedes. Estamos muy contentas de ser parte también de esta fuerza de trabajadores que estamos luchando por diferentes causas. Es ahora el momento, yo creo, de demostrar, ¿verdad?, lo que los trabajadores valemos.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you all for having us out here. It's so amazing to see the work that other folks are doing during this time, especially putting a lot of value and a lot of importance into the work that we are doing as agriculture workers.
Mm-hmm. Y también pues agradecemos por darnos el tiempo de compartir un poquito el trabajo que estamos haciendo. Nosotros como organización de derechos humanos estamos asegurando precisamente que se respeten los derechos humanos para los trabajadores agrícolas, empezando por la salud y la seguridad. Eso es especialmente el enfoque que tenemos ahorita, que estamos en esta crisis que está afectando mucho a trabajadores de diferentes industrias, de diferentes países, que esto es algo o una crisis mundial para todos los trabajadores más vulnerables.
And so, again, a big thank you all for inviting us and giving us the time to come out here and talk to y'all. We are here, we're fighting for our rights to human decency, right? To human care, to being frontline workers and to being essential workers, but still not being respected and not being given the rights that we deserve every day.
En este caso, nosotros como trabajadores agrícolas no nos podemos dar el lujo de respetar lo que está diciendo la Organización Mundial de la Salud, que es el distanciamiento social y el aislamiento por el tipo de trabajo que se hace. Así es el trabajo agrícola, no tenemos esa oportunidad de estar separados ni tener la oportunidad de mantenernos aislados si un trabajador sale positivo.
And so right now we don't have the privilege that a lot of the rest of the world has, especially with the recommendations from the World Health Organization saying that we should be self-isolating and things like that. We don't have that privilege, the way that we work, the way that we live, the way that we're transported and everything.
Nosotros como en nuestra comunidad aquí en Immokalee lanzamos una campaña con el gobernador Ron DeSantis. Esta campaña está enfocada aquí en Florida para que tome responsabilidad él como gobernador y que ayude, ¿no?, a los trabajadores agrícolas. En esta campaña estamos pidiendo que haya un hospital móvil para los trabajadores aquí en nuestra comunidad, que haya las pruebas que sean gratis para los trabajadores, que también tengan un lugar de aislamiento aquí en la comunidad por si un trabajador sale positivo. No tenemos nada de eso aquí en la comunidad para los trabajadores esenciales, como fueron llamados, los trabajadores agrícolas, pero es solamente para hacer el trabajo, pero no para recibir también la ayuda necesaria y seguir haciendo el trabajo que hacemos de poner la comida en la mesa de este país.
Yeah. And so currently right now in Immokalee, we have a campaign for Governor DeSantis here in Florida. We are asking three things of him. We need a field hospital here in Immokalee, where the closest hospital to us is an hour away. We're asking for tests for COVID-19, and we're asking for safety and security for farm workers. We are a community that is oftentimes very forgotten. Right now, we have been deemed essential workers because we are putting food on the table for the rest of this country. Yet we aren't given the safety and security that we need as workers.
Y tenemos una carta que hemos puesto, ¿verdad?, en línea para que nos apoyen a firmar esta carta y hacer presión sobre el gobernador de que precisamente nos dé todo este tipo de protecciones que estamos pidiendo para los trabajadores. Hemos recibido mucho apoyo. Ha habido ese apoyo de parte de muchísima gente, diferentes organizaciones que nos han apoyado con sus firmas. Y estamos ahorita viendo, ¿verdad?, que cuando el pueblo se une, se pueden lograr cosas, que debemos de estar unidos, no importa el trabajo que uno haga. La gente más vulnerable es la gente que se debe de unir en este momento.
And so right now we have a petition that we're asking people to sign, which people have really come through and shown their support and shown their allyship for what's happening here in Immokalee. We've had a really great turnout for folks signing on to that petition. And it's showing that when the town, the community unites and gets together, things can really happen and things can really change.
Hemos visto recientemente que el gobernador de la Florida ha escuchado porque ha prometido que va a haber pruebas gratis, especialmente para Immokalee, que van a estar al acceso de los trabajadores y que se está trabajando ahorita, ¿verdad?, para que también no nada más sean como las pruebas, pero que también de lo que estamos demandando, que haya un lugar de aislamiento para los trabajadores, que haya una ayuda económica para los trabajadores que salgan afectados y que necesiten estar fuera de su trabajo, pero que aún así siguen necesitando para la renta, para la comida, para todas las necesidades de un trabajador que no tiene trabajo. Que quisiéramos, ¿verdad?, que todos los trabajadores también fueran parte de esta ayuda. Sabemos que no podemos ahorita empujar o sí podemos hacerlo, pero se requiere de mucho trabajo, ¿verdad?, para que el gobierno dé todo este tipo de ayuda que merecemos como trabajadores, porque estamos al frente. Siempre los trabajadores más vulnerables somos los que estamos sacando adelante este país y no recibiendo ningún tipo de ayuda.
And so this petition, right, has been heard. Governor DeSantis has publicly announced that he will be bringing free COVID testing into Immokalee, which is great. But it's not enough. It's not, we need more here in this community. We need a place for people to be able to self-isolate when they are tested positive with COVID-19. We need safety and security to be able to pay rent, to be able to put food on our own tables, to be able to keep our families together. And so we continue this fight. We continue to push for safety and security of frontline workers. We are farm workers here in this community, and we continue to need this help from folks and from allies and from people who are listening, who are out there as well.
Y tenemos ahorita este día, vamos a hacer un concierto virtual, donde estamos invitándolos a que se conecte por medio del Facebook de la Coalición de Trabajadores de Immokalee. Y eso es un momento también para celebrar el Día del Trabajador y celebrar lo que hemos logrado. Entonces estamos agradeciendo también a todas las personas que nos han apoyado. Y gracias a todos ustedes también. Estamos en solidaridad y vamos a seguir adelante.
And so today, what we are doing a mini celebration to celebrate the work that we have been putting into this. We will be hosting a virtual concert tonight from 5 to 7 through our coalition Facebook page, as well as the CIW Youth Video YouTube page. Tune in, come have fun with us, come celebrate all the work that we've been doing. Thanks to y'all, thanks to our ally network, thanks to the people that have been plugging in for years and years and years. And we're just so thankful that people have really been showing their support for our community and our people. And so thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
All right. So Phil, I know that we have an amazing musical guest. You want to introduce her?
Sure. TAINA ASILI is a New York-based Puerto Rican singer, filmmaker, and activist carrying on the tradition of her ancestors, fusing past and present struggles into one soulful and defiant voice. Her music combines powerful vocals carrying themes of hope and liberation with an energetic fusion of Afro-Latin, reggae, and rock. ASILI's music offers a sound that spans continents, exuding the strength of spirit, inspiring audiences at venues across the globe. ASILI's music urges people to get on their feet and dance to the rhythm of rebellion. So I hope wherever you are, you're ready to put on your dancing shoes, ready to move your hips to the tunes of Revolucion. Join me in welcoming TAINA ASILI.
Oye, Trump! Oye! We demand a people's bailout. This next song is called No es mi presidente, not my president. Desafiantes, ingobernables, lo rechazamos y no le tememos. Elegimos la libertad sobre el miedo, porque nuestros futuros están interconectados. Las vidas netas importan. Black lives matter. Ningún ser humano es ilegal. No human being is illegal. El agua es vida. Water is life. Basta de violencia machista and sexist violence. No es mi presidente. Él no representa la voz de mi gente. Si está conmigo, me diga presente. El grito no es mi presidente. No es mi presidente. Organizaremos el pueblo como siempre. Ese poder es como un corriente. Grita no es mi presidente. Esta es la obra de mis antepasados. Resistencia unificada es nuestra herencia. Tenemos todo lo que necesitamos para ser los agentes colectivos del cambio. Él no es mi presidente, como siempre. Ese poder es como un corriente. Grita, no es mi presidente. It's time to see ourselves in one another. Oh. Collective liberation and solidarity. This is a resounding call for tomorrow. Reclaim our power and our humanity. Whoa, whoa. You see, it's not my president, the 1% irrelevant, our people discontent, but we are the water. To douse his flames, somos la solución, la oración, el corazón para liberación. Somos la llamada para mañana. No es mi presidente, él me representa la voz de mi gente. Si está conmigo, pues digan presente. Él grita, no es mi presidente. No es mi presidente. Organizaremos el pueblo como siempre. Ese poder es como un corriente. Grita, no es mi presidente. No es mi presidente. Él me representa la voz de mi gente. Si está conmigo, pues digan presente. Él grita, no es mi presidente. No es mi presidente. Organizaremos el pueblo como siempre. Ese poder es como un corriente. Grita, no es mi presidente.
TAINA, do you have something you wanted to say?
I just want to say once again, we demand a people's bailout, power to the people, power to the earth.
All power to the people. Listen, I don't care where you are. I don't know how you could stay in your seat. I had to stay in my seat for professional purposes, right? But if you are still in your seat, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you did it. Thank you, TAINA, for bringing that. And we know that Donald Trump is a resident in the White House, not the president, and he will be evicted very, very soon. Thank you once again for bringing that. We needed that on this call, and we need that in our movement. I'm proud to introduce our next speaker. This pandemic makes us realize both how much healthcare is important and how important it is for all of us to have healthcare, not just some. Our health is interrelated. And yet, some of us suffer disproportionately from health concerns. We see how Black communities are harder hit in this moment than others, how long-standing health inequalities and other structural inequalities make certain people more vulnerable to the virus. In short, poverty is a pre-existing condition. We're also seeing how wrong it is that our healthcare is connected to our jobs. Nearly 30 million people have lost their jobs recently. For many of them, their healthcare was linked to their job because we live in a society where people have health insurance rather than what? Health care. COBRA ain't gonna cut it. Huge expensive payments to corporations for health insurance people can't even use right now. That's not right. Come on. We must make sure that tens of millions of people can get the health care they need, they deserve, and that they have already earned by virtue of being born. KERRI EVELYN Harris of Delaware Alliance for Community Advancement and the Center for Popular Democracy is one of those people fighting this fight on the front lines. I want you all to put your hands together, open up your hearts and your ears for KERRI EVELYN Harris. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for that amazing song. And you know what? Who our president is in 2020 is fully up to us. What our Congress looks like, what our state officials look like is completely up to us. And we have to make sure our priorities are put first, that the people are put first, that a people's bailout isn't a one-time thing, but this lasts for generations to come. And, you know, as Brother Phil just said, healthcare is something we cannot leave behind. The majority of us know that there are problems with our current healthcare system. Shoot, we knew it before COVID-19 hit. And it just showed us that the fissures that we thought were in our systems were actually great caverns. And they need to be fixed. They need to be filled. We need to be healed. And these disparities, they run deep. They run through all of our communities, but most especially in communities of color. Black and brown people have felt these disparities for generations. And again, COVID has allowed us to die at disproportionate numbers. And it seems as though our elected officials are no more thrown off than they are to hear that millions of chickens had to be killed because of COVID-19. At what point will our humanity, will our supposed equality be recognized in all of our nation, but most especially in healthcare? We deserve that humanity. We deserve that equality. We deserve not to die simply because we have more melanin than another person who is our citizen here in the United States. Our current system also forgets that we have this newly recognized class of people, the essential class. And those essential workers, by and large, are those who are without insurance or with inadequate health insurance. How can you be deemed essential and then let die? We go further and we ask for these stimulus changes and we want to be included in them. And we are offered only offers such as paying for COBRA. Not only is something like that short-sighted, it's irresponsible, and it amounts to nothing more than a bailout for corporations. We want a people's bailout. We deserve a people's bailout. And then you go further and you understand that the only adequate response to our current system is Medicare for all. We understand that the only adequate response to healing the brokenness of the COVID-19 is Medicare for all. Medicare for all is the improved and expanded healthcare system that makes sure all of us receive the proper healthcare. Not just that we have access, but that we can actually afford to use it, because guess what? We all have 100% access. But if we can't afford to use it, it's useless. Medicare for all is the proper thank you to our essential workers who are bearing the burden of the COVID-19. You see, they keep us going, but part of the reason they're working so hard is because we had this broken system. I'm a veteran, and I get tired of people saying thank you for your service and knowing that veterans are left behind. It's the same thing with our essential workers. Stop saying thank you and not providing what they need to be essential tomorrow and the next day. Remember that community health equals individual health. You do better when we all do better. And so what I say to you is this: for the traditionally oppressed communities, for essential workers, for the indentured servants forced to work for healthcare. Remember, any of you who have healthcare right now, you're essentially indentured servants working for your healthcare. For you, your family, and your communities, I urge you to back Medicare for all, to scream at the top of your lungs for Medicare for all, to bang pots and pans for Medicare for all, to call elected officials at all levels and say, we will accept nothing less. And if you don't put pressure on those who can make it happen, then you cannot count on our support in other areas. And I urge you to demand a people's bailout. Thank you. And let's keep fighting people.
Thank you so much, Kerri. I'm really sitting with all of your words and your call to action, and I'm ready. And I know that the folks on this call are ready too, and they're already taking action. I wanted to give a quick update on our text in action that we just had. 42,468 tweets have been used with our hashtag, and that's the power of our collective action. 700 tweets have gone to Donald Trump to remind him that these deaths are on his hands. You don't get left behind. Make sure that you still have some time to tweet, and make sure that you add your voice into this. And this moment is just so important because it's not only about our ability to make our voices heard on social media, but right now there are Amazon strikers ensuring that we are demanding more for our people. And we have the honor to have Derek Palmer from Make the Road New York. This May Day, workers at Amazon, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Target, Instacart are all striking for better treatment and safety equipment. Let's support them by avoiding shopping and ordering from those companies today. These frontline workers deserve to be protected. And without them, our food system, our ability to survive is almost completely broken down. we'll now hear from Derek that is calling us from his car in the middle of the action. Derek, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be here. It's a great honor to be a part of this whole movement. And I'm just inspired right now. Wow, like everything that's been happening is just so surreal to me. I'm still, trying to get over everything. But so my name is Derek Palmer. I work at the JFK 8 warehouse, Staten Island. I'm basically here to bring attention to Governor Cuomo, to bring attention to Jeff Bezos and any other billionaire, honestly. Right now is a very crucial time in the world, and we have this pandemic that's going on, and we need more action. We understand that there's a lot going on, but at the end of the day, our lives are essential. We're risking our lives every day to come into work, and the lack of transparency that we've been getting from Amazon is just very alarming. My building has, I can't even give you the estimate of amount of cases, but there's well over 50 cases in the building right now. Like I said before, they haven't been transparent with us at all. They haven't been telling us the number. We've basically been guessing how many, and it's uncalled for. This is my third strike, my third one. We stood in front of JFK 8 today, and we had nurses with us, we had MTA workers with us, and we had workers as well. We're not going to take it anymore. This is our third time doing this, and we want some action. It's been, it hasn't really been a long process, but it seems so long. We're tired of not getting the respect that we deserve. At the end of the day, Jeff Bezos is nothing without his employees. We are the ones that's packing these items. We're shipping these items, picking, counting. We're doing all this stuff to get these items out to these customers. So we're the ones that's literally putting the smiles on his faces that he praises these customers, but we're the one that's doing the work. While he sits there in his mansion and he does whatever he does, we're out here in the front lines risking our health. Not even just our health, our family's health. Anyone that's around us, we're risking our health just to come into work. And honestly, a lot of workers are working in fear. The only reason that they are working is because they have the $2 raise that they gave them, and also the fact that they took away the unlimited unpaid time. So the unlimited unpaid time basically protected them from getting fired, because that time is the time that you have, and if you run out of that, then you'll be fired. Now, prior to May 1st, they were allowed to have unlimited time, but now they took that away. So all the people that were scared to come into work are now forced to come back into work. So everything is based upon what money they need and the amount of package they need to get out. They don't care like the cost of that. Like, they don't care about the human lives cost from that. They only care about the money in their pocket. And, it's just very alarming. And, I'm going to stand up. My team's going to stand up. And this is a long fight, but we're in it to win it. And we know at the end of the day, it may take a while, but we're going to get what we want because we deserve it. And, this is what we do.
That's right. That's right, Derek.
Thank you.
I'm going to take the words that you said with me throughout this fight. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to stand up because we're the ones doing the work. Thank you so much. We're standing with you. And the words that I'm still bringing in my head, we glowed and sparked in the middle of where there was no light. And thank you for the light that you're bringing into all of those spaces. We still have our fight ahead. And the Senate goes back to DC this next week. The House hopefully will follow soon thereafter. And Derek, thank you so much for your words and for joining us. On this next piece, we want to make sure that, thank you. We want to make sure that our legislators understand what our communities and what Derek has been talking about, the need and the urgency of it, that we need a people's bailout right here, right now. We need a people's bailout that it has health as the top priority for all people, no exceptions. We need a people's bailout with economic relief must be provided directly to the people. We need a people's bailout where workers and communities must be rescued, not corporate executives. We need a down payment on the regenerative economy while preventing future crises. Our democratic process needs to be protected while protecting one another. And we must not only participate in these ritual rallies and the cacerolazos, though I had fun today, we must not only strike in our places of work, in our homes, we must not only use our cars like our bodies as we circle people in places of power. We, together, we must build power and raise our voices and call on our members of Congress and demand the people's bailout that we all deserve. The people's bailout that Avery deserves, that made a cameo on this call, the people's bailout that the farm workers deserve, and that the people, undocumented people, and poor working class people need and deserve in this moment. And so I'm honored to be able to join you, Phil, and all of the folks here. So I'm gonna pass it on to my brother Phil to close us out.
Graysa, it was an honor to serve here with you and with every single other speaker, every other representative of an organization and a family. This was a sincere honor for me. It doesn't end today. We went a little bit over an hour, but an hour can't hold all this power. An hour cannot hold all this power. We want to thank everybody for joining us today, for taking action with us today. We need you all to take action again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. If you already haven't gone there, please go to thepeoplesbailout.org. Keep the on there. It is thepeoplesbailout.org. Now that you've taken action, make sure that you pledge on the site so we can contact you about next steps. Use the site to write or call your member of Congress, your members of Congress. Use the site to capture your stories. Use the site to write a letter to the editor, or text People's Bailout to 90975 to get on our list. We want to stay in contact with you all. It does not end today. We always say we are not mourning because we are not dead. Our caskets stay vacant. Our deathbeds still long for our arrival, and rumors of our demise remain greatly exaggerated. Stay safe, stay sane, stay powerful. We are going to see each and every one of you all online and in the streets. And before we sign off, I want to give particular thanks to the groups that contributed to this rally. I'm only going to name a few because there are many. About Face, Be a Hero Fund, Blackbird, the Blackout Collective, It Takes Roots, Mi Gente, Narrative Initiative, the National Domestic Workers Alliance, the Green New Deal Network, Sunrise Movement, Sierra Club. It looks like I'm almost doing all of them. The Working Families Party, the Women's March, Daily Coast, which I looked up how to pronounce, the Indigenous Environmental Network. We want to thank every organization that had a hand in getting us here together. We sign off in love and solidarity. Thank you for being here, and let's continue to fight for those who are out there working every single day.